Haribol. Haribol. You ready? Are you ready to start? Okay, good. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vikshakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, all right. Hare Krishna, Dandavats. Welcome everyone back to the second half of the first day. So let's do a quick review of what we learned so far. Okay, could you all stand up? Just rub your hands together like this. Okay, find a partner from a different table, someone you haven't worked with today. So find a completely new partner, and you can shake their hands or embrace them, whatever you want. Okay? All right. Okay. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so I'm going to give you 1 minute, and you need to share with each other I'm going to give you one topic. So I'll give you one topic, you're going to share with that, and then you're going to go to the next topic. So the topic you're going to share with each other for 1 minute is what is the definition of readiness level? What is the definition of readiness level? 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. What is the definition of readiness level?
With regard to what task?
Huh?
With regard to what task?
What is the definition of readiness level?
Oh, the definition of
Definition of readiness level. Okay? 1 minute is over. Good. Give yourselves a round of applause. It's quick. It's really quick. Stay standing. Don't sit yet. Did you come up with this? Definition of readiness level? Degree of demonstrated ability and willingness to perform. Definition. Okay. Okay, quickly find another partner. Quickly find another partner. New partner. Okay. 1 minute, discuss what are the 3 levels of task. 3 levels of tasks. Okay? Okay, good. Okay, find a new partner. New partner. Find a different partner. Okay. What are the 5 characters? What are the 5 personalities we talked about this morning? The 5 personalities. 5 personalities. Got it? Okay, good. So what were the 5? Do you remember what the 5 are? Superstar, shipwreck survivor, stroke sponge or sponge stroke, whichever. Huh? Newbie? Princess of the pity party. Or prince of the pity party. Okay, find a new partner. New partner. Okay. What are the 3 qualities of someone who has ability? What are the 3 characteristics of ability? And the 3 characteristics of willingness? 3 characteristics of ability, 3 characteristics of willingness. Okay. Okay? Good, thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. Okay. So that was just to wake you up a little bit after lunch, after your nap. Okay. How was that? Good. Okay, without looking at your books, do you remember what some of the things that you need to watch out for are? It was the last thing that we covered. There was about six or seven things we talked about before, without looking. Do you remember what any of those things were? Yeah?
Was it like you have your newbies, they might be excited wanting to do a task, but they don't have the skill to do it.
Right, yeah. Don't confuse enthusiasm for ability.
Yeah,
That was one of them, yeah. Great. Can you remember another one?
Don't confuse insecurity with lack of motivation.
Yes. Don't confuse. Avoid diagnosing insecure as unmotivated. Maraj. Yeah.
Really means skills.
Absolutely. Yeah. Impacting knowledge doesn't guarantee skill. Yeah. Be task specific. Yeah. So you can have a look. It's on page 29. 29. You can have a look at those. Yeah. I think that's where we ended the session today. On those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Couple of other really important ones is, the question is, are they, not can they. So are they doing it? Not can they do it. Are they actually doing it? Right? And, very important as well, focus on demonstrated skills. Not they should be able to, or they used to. Are they actually demonstrating? Right? That's important. And respond to the devotee's need versus the want. That's a couple of tips. These are some things you need to watch out for. Any questions on any of these points here before we move forward?
I'm just speaking for myself. I'm just a little worried that many of these concepts that one may have to actually remember.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
It might be hard to remember.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So what would help you to remember? What strategy could you put in place that would help remind you of these things?
Probably less things to remember is all I can think
What?
of. Less things to remember is all I can think of now.
Okay, yeah. It's a lot to remember in a short time, I know that. What to do? I'll remind you. I'll remind you, don't worry. Yeah, any other questions?
Just Bruce, so I guess an expansion of that is we're going to take this information, we're going to go back to our relevant centres, and then we're going to try implementing this.
Yeah.
So at some stage of the course, will you give us some tips on...
Yes.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question? Okay. Okay, so we can turn to page 35, please. 35. Performance readiness levels. Could someone read? Someone could read that page 36. Any volunteer can do that.
Hare Krishna. Assessing criteria for performance, part 2, performance readiness levels, objectives. Determine the indicators of performance readiness levels. Identify and understand the logic of performance readiness. Identify leader-directed versus self-directed performance. Learn the importance of using performance readiness as a diagnostic tool. Overview. Now that we understand the factors behind performance readiness, ability and willingness, let's examine how to use this information to make an assessment of the current level of performance readiness being demonstrated. We can take the guesswork out of how to best proceed by asking a few basic questions which are focused on present levels of performance. As a leader, you come to a systematic conclusion of how to best leverage your own influence behavior. It's important to acknowledge that the interaction of ability and willingness can vary from individual to individual, and the content in this section will increase your overall probability of success and effectiveness when attempting to influence others. Understanding the 4 performance readiness levels and the drivers behind each will lead you towards selecting the most appropriate leader response. The performance also varies based on involvement of the leader.
Okay, cool, great, thank you. Righty-ho. So here we have a nice little diagram on page 37. This is a simple way how to kind of make a quick diagnosis about the performance readiness of an individual or a team for a specific task. Okay, so there's 2 questions. First question is this: is the person presently performing at sustained acceptable levels? Is the person presently performing at sustained acceptable levels? And you've got 2 answers to that question, right? Either it's a yes or a no. If you're not sure, then you can break it down into smaller pieces. You can chunk it down. Right? So, and then the second question is this: is the person confident, committed, and or motivated? Right? So the first question at the top, this one, what is this relating to? Is this relating to ability or to willingness? Who says willingness? Raise your hand if you think that's to do with willingness. Is this person presently performing at sustained acceptable levels? Who thinks that's willingness? Okay. Who thinks it's ability? Raise your hands. Okay. Who didn't raise your hands? Raise your hands. You're not sure at all. Okay. Okay, it's both. You think it's both? Okay. And what about this? Is this to do with the second question? Is that to do with ability or willingness? Confident, committed, and or motivated. Yeah. So the top question is more to do with performance. The task itself, the job, your ability, your performance level. Is it sustained? Is it acceptable? Is it steady? That's performance. And then the second question, is the person confident, committed, and or motivated? That's to do with your desire to do it, willing to do it, you know. Right? So this gives us 4. So basically, you've got 4 categories here. We have 4 categories. So is the person performing at sustained acceptable levels? Yes or no? No. So then we go down this side. That means right-hand side means performance is under par. Performance is not acceptable. Right? They're not getting the results. That's what it means. If you say yes, it means performance is acceptable at a sustained and sustained. That means it's a yes. Understand the first level? Yeah? Pretty clear? So then you ask the second question. Is this person confident, committed, and or motivated? And if they say no, it brings us down to here. Oh. So if they say no here, they go down here. Is the person confident, committed, and or motivated? If they say no, they go here, R1. This is called R1. R, any guesses what R stands for? Readiness. Readiness level. So R1 means readiness level 1. Readiness level 1 means they're unable and insecure or unwilling. So there's 2. So they're unable because they're not performing, and they're either insecure or they're unwilling. It could be one of those 2. Remember, don't confuse insecure as unwilling. So it could be one of those 2. They're either insecure or they're unwilling. Right? They're called in short, that's called readiness level 1, R1. Clear? Okay. Who is this? If you look at our 5 personalities, who would you think that would be? The 5 personas? Unable and insecure or unwilling. Who says prince? Prince? Prince or princess? Yeah. Prince or princess of the pity party? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so the person's not performing. No. Let's go to the other one. But they are motivated. They are motivated, confident, and committed. Okay, great. So if the answer is yes, there are 2, which means they're unable, but confident or willing. Newbie, right, that's a newbie. Make sense? That's R2. And then let's go to the other side. So both of these are not performing. One of them's not motivated, one of them is motivated, or confident and committed, right? So this one's willing, this one's unwilling, but they're both not performing. Okay? Second, let's go down the second channel now. So if they say yes, they are performing at acceptable levels and sustained. So let's go to number R3. Are they confident, committed, and or motivated? No. So that means they are able, but they're insecure or unwilling. So which one is the insecure one? Stroke sponge is insecure, right? Which one is the unwilling one? Shipwreck survivor, yeah. Is it making sense? I know it's a lot of new language and everything, quite a few things to remember. But it's basically this. They're doing it, but they really don't feel like doing it, kind of thing. Yeah. All right. Either because of they're insecure or they're unwilling. Okay? So let's go down to the other one now. So that's R3. Now let's go to R4. R4, they're performing at acceptable levels, sustained. And they're confident, committed, and or motivated. So they're R4. They're able, they're confident, and they're willing. That's your superstar. So these give you the 4 different readiness levels. Is that making sense? So you got, okay, right? Quite simple, isn't it? Okay, so let me give you a case study. So I have to think about a case study. Okay, before I give you a case study, let's turn to page 38. Yeah, just close your books. Close your books. Close your books. Okay, I'm going to make you into 4 teams. 4 teams. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You count. Remember your number. So we'll start 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll start again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Nice and loud.
2, 3, 4.
3. 1. 3. 4. 3. 4. 2. Okay, everyone stand up. All the 1s get together. All the 2s get in another team. All the 3s in another team. 4s in another team. Get one flip chart here, one flip chart there, one flip chart there. Get 4 flip charts. Okay, flip charts. Okay, put 4 flip charts and 1 in each corner. 1 here, 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Okay, forget it. Okay, 1's here. What are you? 1. 1's are here. What are you? 2's are here. Where's the 3's? 3's are there. Where's the 4's? 4's there. Okay. 4's. Yes, you can sit down if you want. You can sit down. Okay. Each team, you need one person to take notes. Each team needs 1 person to take notes. Okay. You don't need your books. Just close them up for now. No books. You can just close them. like that. Okay? Right. You can just close your books so that you can't see what's... Just close your books. Anyone looking at the books is going to be disqualified. Okay, close your books. Close your books. Okay? All right. You are R1. You're R1. You're R2. Now you're R2. Okay, so you're R1, R2, R3, R4. Okay? You happy with that? No. Okay, good. So which one are you then? You're unable and unwilling. Okay, so you got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. How long? 2 minutes. I'll keep the time. 2 minutes. You got to write down what do you think would be some of the indicators that someone is an R1. Okay, what kind of things would they do? What would let you know that this person's an R1? What would be some of the clues? You can use a flip chart. You can use your flip chart. You can use a flip chart. You can use a flip chart. So, what are the indicators someone is an R1? How do you know? What are the indicators they're R2? How would you know? Yeah, what are the indicators the person is an R3? How would you know they're an R3? What would let you know? And you, indicators, how would you know they're an R4? Do you understand what you're doing? So what are the cues? What are the symptoms? How would you know that person's an R4? Okay? You can use the flip charts. You can also use, that's good. You can use, okay? Okay, it's a quick thing. It's a really quick thing. So it's just going to be brainstorming. Just write down. Brainstorm, write down. Brainstorm, write down. Okay? Yeah, give it to me. Yeah. Thank you. Look later on. Okay, all right. Okay, time's up. Time's up. Okay, now what I want you to do, each team, you're going to move places. So R1s now you're going to become R2. R2s now you're going to become R3. R3s you're going to become R4. R4s you're going to become R1. So everyone shift. Okay? You're not going to get long, 2 minutes. This time I'm going to give you less time. Don't repeat what you've already read. You just add to it. So if they've already said what you were going to say, just add to it. Don't repeat. R1s go to R2. R2s to R3. R3s to R4. You can stand up. You don't even need to sit down if you don't want to. It's really up to you. Maraj, you're over here. You're R2s. R1. Don't get too attached to your seats, okay? What are you? You were before? 3. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're supposed to be there. R4.
We got another good one.
You were R3 before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now you're R4.
We got no Kingston.
Okay, just add to it. Add to it. Don't get too attached to your chairs because you're going to be up soon. You know, just quickly add to that whatever it is. Whatever they've written down, you can add to it. Whatever they've written, you can add to that. R2. Yeah, proactive is already there, so no problem. You probably find there's a difference between insecure and unwilling as well. Like if you look at the two, you see you got insecure.
Yeah.
So someone who's insecure, they're going to be a little bit different from someone who's unwilling.
Unwilling is just unwilling.
Unwilling is like coming down probably, and insecure is coming up. Because you got the stroke sponges coming up.
Got that lacks confidence,
Yeah.
needs encouragement, no enthusiasm, no determination. That's your shipwreck,
Yeah.
right? Discouraged by past disappointment. We've already got that. Okay, what else are we going to put in here?
I'm not sure about that, but anyway, let's.
That was the previous.
That wasn't. Okay, you ready? Are you over attached to your chairs? Don't get too attached. Okay, everyone up. Okay, now R1s, you're going to go to R2. You're going to go to there. Your R2, you're going to go to R3. R3s, you're going to go to R4. R4s, you're going to go to R1. R1. Yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm trying to keep you guys awake. R1s to R2. Yeah, R3. R3. O'clock. Yeah. R3. You don't have to, by the way, you don't have to agree with what anyone else has written before. You can say stuff that they've not written. That's okay. If you think that that's not true, it doesn't matter. You can write what you think. Skilled, needs to be detailed, brown, okay. Overconfident. Okay, insecure, feeling ignored, not enthusiastic. Okay.
Both. You want to show it separately or
What?
two types you want to show them?
No, however you want to do it, it's up to you. Okay, good. Last time. Okay, this is the last time. You can all change places. So if you're R3, come to R4. If you're R4, come to R1. If you're R1, come to R2. If you're R2, come to here, R3. R2. Yeah. If you're there, come here. Yeah. This is R3. You don't have to agree with the previous teams, by the way. You can disagree with the previous teams. Put your own stuff there. It's the blue one, yeah. It's a no. Yeah. Or it could be one of those, might be more prominent. I mean, they might be committed, but they might not be motivated. Yeah. Depends. It's my water. You have to be careful of that. It might go inside like that. Okay. Okay, time is over. Thank you. Thank you very much. You can just stay with your teams. Just stay with your teams for now. Okay, stay with your teams. You can all sit down. Everyone can sit down. Okay, that's R3. Let's put that there. R3. Well, that's R4, right? Okay, R4. This is R2. Can you bring the R2? Can you bring that board over here? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so R2. Okay, can we have a volunteer just to read through? Who's the first team? R1 team. Who's the first team? R1. One volunteer from the first team. If you could just read through. You can, yeah. You're R1, is it? You are one from the very beginning. I think you were one, right? Yeah. Oh, you are one first. All right. Could you just come and read out some of these things then for us? Yeah.
R1. This is for that side.
It's okay.
Here. Cribbing, unhappy, misses programs, criticism, gives excuses, backbiting, absconds, no responsibility, politics, non-cooperation, procrastinates, doesn't pay attention, reactive, stubborn, lazy, offensive, unmotivated, proud, neophyte, insecure, feeling ignored, not enthusiastic, not committed, no experience, inferiority complex, rumor monger, does nothing, unskilled, malicious, lacks integrity, dishonest, begrudging, superiority complex.
Oh my God, that sounds really terrible. That's like, yeah, that sounds like that's a train wreck. That is. That's a real train crash. Okay. All right. Okay, there's a lot of stuff there. Pretty negative, right? Does it always have to be so negative? Does it have to be so negative for an R1? Huh? Yeah, okay, yeah. But okay, let me show you some of the ones we've got here. Okay. Can you see that? So indicators, these are some of the indicators we've got. They're not performing tasks to acceptable level. That's the really basic one. Okay. This is R1, yeah. They're intimidated by the task. They're unclear about directions. They're procrastinating. The task will be unfinished. They'll also question the tasks. They'll avoid, pass the buck. Defensive, there may be discomfort, right? So R1 is not a bad thing. Like when I look at this, it seems like almost in your paradigm is kind of suggesting that R1 is somehow or other bad. It's not necessarily bad. It could be just a simple fact that the person doesn't know how to do it and they're insecure. It doesn't have to be that they're offensive, or it doesn't mean that. You getting the picture? A lot of these things are a lot of these words that you're using here, they're very, they're kind of very judgmental words, actually, if you want to know. You know, it's very judgmental, and it's very kind of, you know, like R1s, and, you know, if I ask you to come up here right now and give a speech on situational leadership, where are you? If I ask you, okay, with your knowledge so far of situational leadership, come up here and give a speech or give a seminar like this on situational leadership, are you R1, 2, or 3, or 4? Which one? You're R1, right? Does that mean you're offensive? Does it mean you're a criticism? Does it mean you're a backbiter? It doesn't mean any of those things at all. So what I'm asking you to do is remove the emotional stuff out of it and really kind of look at it for what it is, rather than, you know, kind of labeling it and becoming, you know, making too many judgments on it. Does that make sense? It's really important. Yeah. Yeah, it's always task specific. It's always task specific. Situation leadership is always task specific. You know, this has become like a personality crucifixion, you know? This is like crucifying someone. Yeah? It's task specific. Prince of the pity party. Yeah.
So so that has some emotions
Yeah.
there.
Obviously, there will be some emotions. Yeah, there will be something there.
I think at a very positive level, pity as a positive way of saying it is compassion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, when we say pity party, we mean they're making excuses. Oh, you know, I don't want to do this. Maybe I kind of overplayed it with that word. Maybe it's not, you know, the right word, Prince of the pity party. But yeah, these are some of the kind of more things that you really want to be looking at here. Yeah. Is that making sense? R1s are not bad, not at all. It's just that's just the level that they're at. You know, I'm sure there's many things. Even in devotional service, that you're, you know, maybe you're not very good at, and nor do you want to do it either, right? Does that make sense? Maybe some of you have no interest in taking care of cows. Maybe you love cows, you've got nothing against cows, but it's just not your propensity. It's not your thing. Does that make sense? It doesn't mean it's good or bad. It just means your nature could be slightly different. What?
The characters that you outlined as examples, they're
Yes.
actually quite helpful
Yeah.
in placing this. But is there another one that works instead of the prince character?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I can't think of one right now, but
Okay.
you probably could come up with a better one, yeah. Okay, good. So yeah, these are some of the things you want to be looking for. They're not performing at acceptable levels. They're intimidated by the task. Unclear about directions. They'll procrastinate, unfinished things, questioning the task itself, yeah. Okay?
Sorry, one question.
Yes.
Can it also mean that we have made somebody into an R1 by giving them a task which they are unwilling and at the same time they are not skilled for it?
Yeah, it's not that you've made them, because they're already there.
For that specific task.
Yeah.
So we have given them a task which they are not skilled and they are not willing to do it.
Yeah, or it could be or it could be that either two things. They could be unwilling, or they could be insecure. Yeah. So you always remember two things. They may not have the ability, and they may be unwilling to do it, and they may not have the ability, and they may be insecure about doing it. And someone who's insecure, if you get them to do it, they'll eventually become unwilling, because they'll just make a mess of the whole thing. They'll get confused. They'll say, "Told you so," and then they'll just like shut down. Make sense? They'll be very uncomfortable. Yeah, it's just like you've given them too much. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Good. Thank you. Please, someone come and just. Who has the courage to R2, please? Thank you. R2. If you could come and describe R2, yeah.
R2 is unstable. You want to go other side? Better? Unstable. That's just the heading? Okay. Lack of knowledge, newbie. Attached to opinion, enthusiastic, unskilled, disrespectful, volunteers for everything, needs to be detailed. Oh, needs to be given details. Okay. Error prone, needs supervision, overconfident, inexperienced, a puppy, risky, fanatical, lacks discrimination, needs support, immature or a neophyte, and a yes man.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, here's some of the things, some of similar things. Okay. Anxious or excited, interested and responsive, demonstrating moderate ability, receptive to input, attentive, enthusiastic. They're new to the task, no experience. So these are some cues. So yeah, pretty good. Quite close. All right, okay. Let's go to R3 now. Any questions on this or any thoughts on this? Um, Yeah, I think we really kind of like you kind of do want to remove that attachment to it, and you just want to observe it as it is. If you're making a diagnosis, if you're emotionally involved when you're making a diagnosis, you're probably going to make an incorrect diagnosis. So the best thing is to kind of not attach your sentiments to it, but just see it for what it is. Yeah, but I'm saying we don't want to miss out on something that's genuinely important. Yeah, so it's not necessarily a negative thing. You're just looking as it is, for what it is. You're just basically looking at, okay, this person is new to the task, they've never done it before, they're insecure. Now, knowing those things is very useful because that's a positive thing to know those things because that's going to help you in your leadership style. So in itself, making a proper diagnosis is very useful for you. So it's not good or bad, right or wrong. It's actually giving you an accurate assessment of what's really happening. Can you look at it from that perspective?
Yes, I'm just curious whether being neutral doesn't have to necessarily discount something that's positive. That's all, because I don't see anything positive in that sense. In the sense, if I were to have some resource like that and it's going to require some amount of investment in terms of time and resources, how would I look at it in a positive way? These are facts for what they are, without any judgment.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I mean, okay, what would make it worthy for me enough to make that effort? Where should I? Yeah.
Well, yeah. See, a lot of it depends on the task, the risk, and your time. So if you have more time, it's a great opportunity to help develop that person. If it's very risky, obviously you're going to say, okay, that's good. We don't want to bring them into that risky situation. And so it's opportunity also. See, when you know if they're an R1, when you understand they're an R1, you're going to use the appropriate leadership style. That doesn't mean you can't still work with them. You absolutely can work with them, but you need to work with them in the right way. Because if you deal with them in the wrong way, it's going to be a mess. But there is a way to deal with R1s that's very, very effective.
Also, they may have readiness for some lighter service, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like Srila Prabhupada, the letter from Srila Prabhupada before, great management means you've got the right people in the right place, they're motivated, so not everyone's going to want to do the cows, not everyone's going to want to do the books. You've got to put the right people in the right place, that's great management.
Does it also mean that the leader, if he knows the abilities and willingness of every devotee, then he can create superstars? Everybody can be superstars?
Yeah, but in actual reality, that's not going to be the case, because you'll always have, you're going to have different people at different levels, and that's just life, I mean, ideally, it would be a wonderful world if everyone was superstars, but that's just not going to be the case. And that would be a boring world too, right?
It could be a career template.
Okay, and remember, it is task specific. It's always task specific. It's always related to a specific task. So not everyone is going to be a superstar at the same task. You got some superstars are really good at this, and that's Bhagavad Gita, right? Okay, so can we go to the next one, R3? A volunteer to R3? Can we have a volunteer?
Who did R3 first?
Fearful, no attention, gives excuses, lazy, unaware of their own strengths, gives instructions, needs ongoing support, lacks confidence, needs encouragement, no enthusiasm, no determination, discouraged by past disappointment. Knowledgeable, experienced, is performing but insecure, lacks resources, demoralised, unmotivated, skilled but frustrated.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. So here's some of the indicators. First time solo performance. So that would specifically be like a stroke sponge, able but insecure, lacks confidence, needs feedback and encouragement, previously demonstrated knowledge and skill, performance slipping, upset about things on or off the job. So these are some typical things. So if you look at the first 2 or 3, this is more relating to able and insecure. And if you could look at the last 2, this is more about able and unwilling, shipwreck survivor, someone who's regressing their performances on a slide. Yeah. The first 3 is someone who's coming up, second 3 is someone who's coming down. We'll talk about that a little later if there's time. Any comments on this, questions on this? Is this useful so far? Give you some insights, hopefully. Okay, great. So last one but not least, let's go to R4.
Enthusiastic.
Wow, we've got 2 enthusiastic people here, yeah? 3.
Enthusiastic, proactive, committed, knowledgeable, experienced, skilled, confident, responsible, expert, awesome, reliable, proactive, dynamic, suiting, takes care, takes charge, visionary, go-getter, naturally helpful, resourceful, spontaneous, aware of consequences of actions and inaction, dependable. Okay.
I think there's more on this one than any other one, right?
Valuable, go to mass. Huh?
Go to man, go to man.
Go to man, okay. First class disciple, proactive, needy, ambitious. Needs mentoring. What is this? Huh? Could be individual, needs protection from burnout, protect from pride, can become indispensable.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay, good. Yeah, here's some ones we got as well. Consistently performs at high standards. Can operate autonomously. They don't need someone breathing down their back. They'll still do it whether you're there or not. Committed to and enjoy the task. Keeps boss or authority informed of the task progress. Shares both good and bad news. So these are some indicators of R4. Now, any observations or? Yes. Can we have the microphone?
One of the comments made there was needs mentoring. I didn't realize R4 would need any mentoring.
Okay. So what do you think?
I don't think they need any mentoring
What would they do then?
because
instead?
they are fully able and they're willing and motivated and they
Who
get
wrote
the
that? That was your comment? Okay, could you explain?
A whole fear was that we may think he doesn't need mentoring, but he may also start thinking he doesn't need mentoring.
Okay.
That's the reason we put it that, and it's important in our society that we have somebody taking care of the stars
So
also.
you're taking a
Pride, it could hit pride.
precautionary measure. or
Precautionary
something.
measure, pride could hit him, he could burn out. All these points that come out because of that.
Yeah. That makes sense? Okay. Normally you'll find your R4s, they are the mentors.
Yeah.
R4s in general will be the one that's mentoring you because, they're very good at what they do, that specific task. They'll be able to guide you. They'll be able to show you how it's done. They'll be able to, they'll be able to teach you how to do it also. Yeah.
Not only that, but also self-guiding. So, for example, says here, it keeps the boss informed of task progress, but also, for example, if there's something that they wouldn't know, they would proactively go and seek it out, find out what it is, sort it out and move on, get on with life.
Yeah, probably would, yeah. Yeah. They're probably, see, if someone really enjoys what they're doing, they're probably upgrading themselves as well. They're probably developing their skills too. Someone else had a, Marj?
Just to add to it, we didn't put it up, but probably because he's a go-getter, gets things done, is likely to step on people's toes in the act of getting things done.
Yeah.
He's result-oriented, so sometimes may become a little insensitive.
Yeah, so that's where I'm going to just pause you there, because I want you to remember, and just keep this in mind as well, it is task specific. It is task specific. So just keep in mind it is task specific. We're not really talking about a personality type. We're not talking about the alpha male or the, we're not really talking about that. We are talking about an individual who's performing a specific task. So always keep that in mind. You don't want to start labeling people, oh, he's an R1. Yeah, he's an R1, yeah, forget him. That's not what this is about at all. Remember, it's task specific. Yeah, what is it? Okay, yeah. So you're looking at a specific task, and the task can be at 3 levels, right? What levels do we have? Overall, major, and detailed. So, for example, overall, as a temple president, yeah, you may be an R4. If you're not sure, you need to break it down, because there may be certain responsibilities of a temple president that he's an R1 or an R2 or an R3, right? Bookkeeping. He may be great in inspiring people, maybe very spiritual, but in terms of like keeping the accounts and making sure that the temple is, within budget and everything, he might be a R1. Yeah? So, is that making sense, right? But overall, yeah, he's R4, but, in specific areas, you might, so remember that. You've got those, break it down, break it down, break it down. Because this is our tendency. We think, oh, wow, that devotee is really good at this, so he must be good at everything. And that's a big mistake, right? Just because you're good at that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're good at that. Just because you're a great devotee, it doesn't mean that you're great at, doing accounts, right? And just because you're great at doing accounts, it doesn't mean you're great at doing that, right? So, remember those 3 levels. Remember those 3 levels, right? And remember this as well, because you do deal with superstars on a regular basis. And your mindset will be this, oh, wow, they're super good at this, so let me put them there too. And then you realize it's a complete disaster, right? So, you want to avoid that. You got to assess them on that specific task, not on that task. You can't say, oh, they're really good at that task. That means they'll also be a superstar in this task too. No. That make sense? And this is the interesting thing about situational leadership when we come to the leadership styles. There's 2 principles of situational leadership that it's the foundations of it. Number 1 is consistency. Situational leadership, the foundational principle is consistency. And the number 2 principle of situational leadership is flexibility. Right? Right? So in other words, you're consistent, but at the same time, you're completely flexible. So what does that mean? How can you be consistent and flexible at the same time? Huh? You're like, whoosh. Consistent. No, I'll make it clear. It's going to be unclear to you till we learn the leadership styles. Okay, so thank you. Thank you for this. This is great. Are you a little bit more aware now of the readiness levels, the 4 different readiness levels? Yeah, it's getting in your. It'll take a while before it kind of enters, but this is something you're going to have to kind of come back to a few times before you get it. Okay, so you can return to your teams or you can stay where you are, whichever you decide. Can we just put these? Yeah, we'll just put them to one side here. You just keep that. Okay. There's a tool, there is a tool here. This can get as scientific as you want, it really can. This is a tool you can use to assess a person's performance readiness. I'm not going to do it with you today. But if you look, what you would do is you would pick a person, and then you pick a specific task or an activity that they need to do. So let's say, for example, it could be, what would I choose for that? Could be a Sankirtan leader, for example, and the task would be, making sure that the spiritual standards are at an acceptable level of his Sankirtan team. That could be the task. So you've got the first one. Does this person demonstrate? It's a little blurred, but you can read it from your book. Does this person demonstrate not necessary job knowledge? Yes, highly agree. Does not demonstrate the knowledge. So you can basically make an assessment, and it will give you a reading. Are they R1, 2, R3, or 4? It's on page number 39. So I may give you some homework like this. Later on. Okay. Right. Let's go to the leadership styles now. So page 44. 44. Yeah.
In assessing an individual, would you do that privately or would you do it with them? What's the?
I would do it. If I'm working with a team, I would do it individually, because then I would do it on my own, so I can kind of see what kind of leadership style I would need to use with that person for that specific task. Yeah. Teach your team these same principles, and it can be very good, because then you can be transparent as well, and it can help your team to kind of tell you what they need as well. When they become aware of the different readiness levels, it can help your team to kind of communicate with you what style they need from you. So it can be a good communications tool. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, I understand that this is situational leadership, so it is task specific, but is there something like a list of different things we should check that are not not connected with the task? Like, for example, that the person is reliable in his just as part of his character. Like, for example, I would probably choose a person who is reliable as a character and wants to learn, but doesn't know anything and doesn't want even to do this task, rather than the person who knows and can do that, but doesn't have certain principles and character.
Yeah. I don't know if this exactly answers your question, but I remember when I was doing my training, like when I was doing my leadership training for, as a facilitator, I was working in the corporate world, and I had to do many different workshops for different organizations. So there were different training programs that I was learning. So I was learning like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, disciplines of execution, leadership, presentation skills, writing skills. So these are all different workshops I was doing for different companies. So my leader, or you could say my mentor, he had a kind of like a Excel sheet, and he had a list of all the different so he had a list of all the different training programs. So writing skills, leadership training, personal development training, etc., etc. What presentation skills. So these were all the different workshops that I had to deliver. So he kind of assessed. So yeah, Braj, for this one, he's an R1. Writing skills. It's really not my thing. You know, maybe for leadership I was maybe an R3. For what's that? Presentation skills I was like an R4. For personal development I was maybe like an R4. So he had a different plan for me. Now there's other areas as well. Like for example, you could look at stuff like, is this person good at on-time management? Right? So let's say if a person like a characteristic, like the person always shows up late, what does it mean? You know, maybe they're an R1 in terms of time management. So you can apply this to different areas. You can apply it to skills. You can also apply it to, you know, is this person in general reliable? Where would you say in terms of their reliability and consistency? But then again, you want to be careful because, you know, you don't want to start labeling people as an R1, R2, R3, R4. You want to be careful of that. So as far as possible, I would suggest, you know, keep it task specific. I think we already have enough designations we're trying to get rid of as a devotee, right? You know, I think we only want the one, right? We're looking for that one. We're a servant of Radha and Krishna, that's it. But so it's not another thing to kind of label people at, but yeah, you could, you know. All these things can be worked on. They can be worked on. Okay, so let's go to leadership styles. Can someone volunteer to read page 45?
Influence behaviors, part 1, leadership styles. Objectives. Explain the terms relationship behavior and task behavior and describe them by behavioral indicators. Give examples of high and low relationship and high and low task behavior. Classify examples of behavior as either high/low relationship or high/low task. Understand the patterns of influence behaviors that make up leadership styles. Overview. As the temple/zone grows and evolves, the need to develop new and better leaders is critical for success. Let's for a while look into the history of leadership theory in modern times. Previously, it was widely believed that the ability to lead others was a natural ability. You either had it or you didn't. As the demand for new leaders increased, people began to try to identify specific leadership traits that could be isolated, learned, and developed. As they studied these traits, they began to see that effective leaders, like everyone else, were simply engaging in different types or combinations of behaviors. When you attempt to motivate and empower people in your temple/zone, they will be impacted by the various combinations of behaviors you demonstrate. The most important factor in determining whether you'll be successful or unsuccessful as a leader is how and when you use these various types of behaviors. To enable you to develop or improve your leadership style for maximum effectiveness, this module will present two major concepts: relationship behavior and task behavior. In this session, you will learn the components of relationship and task behavior. You will also see how these two concepts can be combined and how the combinations result in different leadership styles.
Okay? This is where it gets a little interesting. So there's two, what are the two things there we're talking about here? What are the two things we're talking about? There's two styles. Task behavior and relationship behavior. These are the two. Now, that if you put these together, it gives you a matrix of 4. So let me just give you an example. Yeah, okay, we'll come to that later on. So we've got a grid here. So you've got this would be high, high, and this is low. You can draw this yourself as well. This is high, and this is low. So this is task behavior. And this one is a relationship. This is relationship behavior. So you got high relationship behavior. You have low relationship behavior. You have high task behavior. You have low task behavior. So this quadrant would be what? This quadrant would be high task and high relationship. High task, high relationship. This one would be high relationship and low task. This one? Low relationship and low task. And this one? Low task, high relationship. Okay, so these give you these are 4 leadership styles. Just testing. So I want to make sure you're awake. Okay, what is it? It is high task and low relationship. Very good. These are the 4 leadership styles. These are 4 leadership styles. Yeah. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to explain to you what is task behavior and what is relationship behavior, because that's very important to know. Right? So let's have a look. If you turn to page number 47, there's a description there. Okay, relationship behavior. Could someone read this, please? Some volunteer can read this. What is the definition of relationship behavior?
The extent to which a leader engages in two-way or multi-way communication, listening, facilitating behaviors, and socio-emotional support. Giving support, communicating, facilitating interactions, active listening, providing feedback.
Yes. This is relationship behavior. Don't mistake relationship behavior as having a good relationship. It's not the same. It's not the same. It doesn't mean you like someone or you don't like someone. That's not what it means, okay? It doesn't mean you have a good or a bad relationship. It's not what it means. A relationship behavior is the extent to how much it's a two-way communication. It's a two-way communication. Listening, giving feedback. What else does it say there? It's a multi-way communication. Social and emotional support. That's called relationship behavior. You could, instead of saying relationship behavior, you could call it supportive behavior. It's another way to put it. So, to the degree that you support someone by listening, giving feedback, two-way communication, that's called supportive behavior or relationship behavior. Is it clear? In relation to the task. Every time it's in relation to the task. Every time it's in relation to the task. Every time it's in relationship to the task. It's never not related to the task. It's always task specific. Remember that. Yeah? You've got to kind of burn that into your mind.
Task-oriented support to a person, and in between both have good understanding, it becomes a good relationship, and then some feelings, and then some friendship, and then some spiritual content.
Yeah, that's true. But this has nothing to do with that. This is not about having a good relationship, liking the person, not liking. It's not nothing to do with that. This is a leadership language term. That's all it is. It's just a leadership language term. Is it a two-way communication? If it's a two-way communication, you're listening, you're giving feedback, that's called relationship behavior. Okay? It doesn't mean you have a good relationship. Forget that. Gone. It's nothing to do with whether you like the person or don't like the person. It has nothing to do with that. That may be there, may not be there, but it's not talking about that. Yeah?
It means when we are sitting with the person for task, to complete
Okay.
completion of task, then we can talk like.
I'll give you some examples as we go through. I'll give you some real example, okay? Okay. But basically, just read, instead of saying relationship behavior, forget relationship behavior, let's call it supportive behavior. Is that easier for you? It's called supportive behavior. To the degree that you support the person for that specific task, socially and emotionally. Is it clear? Okay. No, forget, not relation, nothing to do with relationship. Okay. That's not in the equation. Obviously it is. It's all about relationship, but you know, that's not what we're talking about. Okay, let's go to the next one. Can someone read the next one? Task behavior.
Task behavior, the extent to which a leader engages in defining roles, providing what, how, when, where, and if more than one person, who's to do what. Goal setting, organizing, establishing timelines, directing, and controlling.
Yeah. Task. That's called task behavior. So you've got two things, task behavior, supportive behavior. Yeah? Okay. So let me have a look, see what exercise we got here. Is it break time yet, or what's? Hare Krishna? What time is break? Huh? At 5, okay, good. Got 5 minutes then. Huh?
5:15.
5:15 is the break time. Okay. This one? Yeah. This is this. Yeah? There is no sweet spot. You're probably looking at that and think, oh, is that what we should do? So basically what happens is, when you have all these different combinations, you'll end up with 4 different kind of leadership styles. So high task, high relationship, or high task and high support. And then you've got, so you've got, this is, this is style 1. Style 1. This is style 2. This is style 3. And we'll talk about what these styles are in a minute. And this is style 4. So these are the 4 leadership style. Now each one of these leadership styles will match one of the readiness levels. Is that making sense? And you have 2 different kinds of things. You have a high probability we're going to call it high probability match. High probability match. And then you've got low probability match. Now this language is quite important. High probability and a low probability. Why? Why do we use that word high probability, low probability? Yeah? Yeah, exactly. So in other words, there's no exact, it always has to be this with this, and it's a high, but what we are saying is that if you use this style with this kind of readiness level, you have a higher probability of actually making a match. It's not always absolute. Just keep in mind that, you know. Right? Okay, so you understand. Now let's have a look at page 61. Is it 61? 51. You can just fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks here. Style one. Style one is about giving specific instructions and closely supervising. Yeah? Style one is about giving specific instructions and closely supervising, high task and low relationship. Yeah? I'm on page 51. Yeah, give specific instructions and closely supervise. It's a one-way communication. It's leader directed. The leader makes a decision here. That's style one. It's more of a kind of, you could say it's more of an autocratic style. That's style one. These are some of the things for a style one. Provide specific of who, what, when, where, how. You can write some of these things down if you want to. Role definition. It's a predominant one-way communication. Leader-made decisions, close supervision and accountability. Incremental instructions. Keep it simple, specific. These are some of the characteristics of a style one leadership. Is that making sense? So it's task specific. It's not, there's no two-way communication here. It's just the leader saying, okay, first do this, second do this. Yeah.
Incremental instruction means repetitive instructions?
Incremental means do first step one. When you finish step one, now do step two. Now do step 2.5. Now do step 3. Incremental. It's very small steps. Yeah, very details, small details, incremental. Okay, have you done that? Okay, good. Now push that there. Okay, you done that? Okay, good. Now you press that button. Okay, yeah. Did you see the screen? Yeah, okay, that means it's on. Okay, now can you see where it says file? Just move the trigger. Now press file. Have you done that? Oh, you're confused. Okay, good. Let me go back again. Very small incremental steps. This is very detailed. And it's there's no discussion. Little discussion, but it says there, low. Remember, it's low, not no. It says low relationship. It doesn't say no relationship. There'll always be some kind of support, but less or more, right? Okay, this is style one. Let's look at style two. Style two is explain your decisions and provide clarification. Ask questions to clarify ability level. Explain the person's role. This is still leader directed. Okay? Providing who, what, when, where, how, and why. If you look at style one, did not have why. It didn't say why. But style two has why. Okay? Explain your decisions and allow opportunity for clarification. It's a two-way discussion. It's a two-way dialogue. The leader makes the decisions. Explain the individual's role. Ask questions to clarify ability level. Reinforce small improvements. This is style two. This is style two. So style one is telling. And remember, telling doesn't mean yelling. Okay. Style two, if I'm correct, is selling. Is it selling? Can't see that. Both are leader directed. Style 1 and style 2, high task, both high task. High task, low relationship, high task, high relationship. Both leader directed. Sorry? Yes. No, no. It's just what you'll do as a leader. It's going to be your style that you'll use. So this will be some of the things that'll help you. Yeah. So what you're basically doing, what that means is you're going to clarify their ability level. So you're going to ask a few questions just to check if they're actually ready for the task or not. So you say, okay, so you say you can do this. So if this situation happens, what would you do? Get some clarification. You're checking their ability level. Because they might come to you and say, yeah, I can do that, Prabhu. No problem. So you want to check, if you're not sure. Okay, tell me, what kind of experience have you had in this area before? Well, I watched a couple videos about it. And, okay, good. And so you have a little knowledge about this then? Yes. And what experience do you have? Have you actually run a team before? Well, no, I've never run a team, but I do have a family. So you're clarifying, it's a two-way dialogue. It's a two-way dialogue. Yeah.
Could this be done for all 3 levels of the task, overall, major, and detail?
Well,
how do they fit in?
Well, you'd normally find if you're talking to a superstar, you're not really going to go into the details, are you?
Oh, no.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Like, if I start doing all this stuff with a superstar, what's going to happen? Okay, what if I do this stuff with a superstar, what's going to happen? See if I start doing this with a superstar, what's going to happen? Okay, first do this. Okay, when you finish that, okay, let me explain it. No, shh. Okay, you done it? Okay. Yeah. What's going to happen is probably...
They'll be fried, yeah.
Probably slap you. Right? Also, probably would with this as well. Okay. If you use that style. Okay, style 3. High relationship, high task. I'm going to give you the slides, by the way. I'll give you all these slides. I'll give you the presentation. I'll give you the book also, soft copy. Okay, this is high relationship, low task. Encourage input. Actively listen. The individual makes a decision here. So two-way communication and involvement, support risk-taking, complement work, praise and build confidence. So these are some of the styles for leadership style 3. Yeah. When we do the coaching, I'll be showing you how to do this practically, some stuff like this, tomorrow, next day. Could you repeat that? Support risk-taking, yeah. Like, remember our example from this morning? He feels a bit nervous to do it on his own, but I say, okay, come on, what's the worst that can happen? People maybe think you didn't do a very good job. Can you live with that? Yeah, okay, great, let's do it. Yeah? Make sense? Is this okay so far? Okay. Style 3. High relationship. This is supportive. This is supportive behavior. It's, does it mention anything about giving tasks or anything like that? Telling the person what to do, when, who with? Nothing, right? This is mostly kind of emotional, supportive, encouraging. You'll see it's an emotional dimension. This is the emotional dimension. If you look at these two both have task. Okay, what to do, when to do, how you do it. It's skill related. Mostly it's skill related, task related. If you look at this, it's mostly Supportive behavior, listening, getting feedback, nothing to do with the task in itself. Why? Why is there nothing to do with the task here? Yeah. All right, and then let's look at the, you ready to move to the next one, last one? R4, style 4. Leadership style 4. Delegating tasks. The big picture. We want the temple over there. This is how much money you've got. These are the dimensions, and this is the date needs to be finished by. Go ahead. Big picture. Individual makes the decisions. Light supervision. Monitor activities. Reinforce results and remain accessible. These are some of the styles for style 4. This is style 4 leadership. These are the 4 leadership styles. Okay. Reinforce results. So yeah, you're just gonna you're reinforcing basically the kind of results that they're getting. So you're looking at the results they're getting and you're kind of acknowledging that. You're also helping them to stay focused on what the outcome is. Yeah. It's easy to get distracted. Yeah. Well, because obviously, so if you're working with let's say, for example, you're a superstar. Your job is to build the temple. Needs to be finished by December within this budget, 10 crores or whatever it is. And you're a superstar, right? You're doing the manage, but I'm going to be, connecting with you. Yeah, how's it going? Are we on budget? So it's not that there's no communication. There is communication, but it's at a very high level. I'm not finding out all the details and everything, but I generally want to know, give me the big picture, what's happening. Are we in budget? Is it working to the time frame? Give me a big picture, what's going on. Does that answer your question? So obviously there's going to be some monitoring. It's not like I'm just going to say, go ahead, because why? I need to be connected. Yeah, it's low task, not no task. There's going to be some connection. I need to be connected. Because also he could regress. He might be a superstar, but he also might be regressing. He might have a crisis in his family. And then he might not be on the job for 2 months. And if I'm not aware of that, he's become a shipwreck survivor. I didn't even know. So you've got to find out, because people also regress. You've got to be aware of that. So you need that monitoring, needs to be there. That makes sense? Huh? This is low task and it's low relationship. Not no. So there's going to be some task, there's going to be some relationship, but not, but it's, at the right level. That makes sense. Now, let me ask you a question. Which style would you use for which readiness level? I think it's tea break, actually. Think about that. As you're having your tea, or your, whatever it is we have, your juice break, just think about which style would you use for which readiness level? For R1, which style would you use for an R2? Okay, so think about that as you're having a break, or just switch off, it's up to you, but when we come back, we'll talk about that. So we'll take a 15-minute break.
Hare Krishna, please take prasadam or snacks inside this room only, not outside.
Okay. The bead bag. Just check it's not me. How big is it? Is it big or small? Bead bag. We found someone's beads. Okay, if anyone's lost their bead bag, it's this one up here, the red one. Is that yours? Okay. Okay, great. Welcome back, everyone. Hare Krishna. Last session for the day. Dandavat Pranam. Okay, so yeah. So you got the 4 leadership styles. First one is telling. Remember, telling is not yelling. And it's style. Leadership means style. Leadership style means, it's stylish. Telling, selling, participating, delegating. These are the 4 leadership styles. Telling, give your specific instructions and closely supervise. Telling. Number 2, explain your decisions and provide clarification. Style 2. Style 3, participating. Share ideas and facilitate in decision making. And then style 4, delegating. Turn over decision making and implementation. Yeah. So these are the 4 leadership styles. Would you like a demonstration of the 4 leadership styles? Would you like a demonstration? Okay. Could you all stand up? Okay, come over here. Come around me. Okay, stand up, come over here. Come around me. Okay, come a bit closer. Closer, 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 closer. Okay. This is leadership style 1. Get up, come over, come closer. Give specific instructions and closely supervise. Okay, now you can all go and sit down. That's also style 1. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? It's specific, clear, it's step by step. It's not, it's autocratic. It is autocratic. I'm basically saying, okay, do this, right? Yeah? There's nothing wrong with that, is there? If I don't do that as your facilitator, I'm not doing my job properly, am I? Yes or no? Okay. Okay, let me show you. So, style 1 is no discussion. I'll make it really simple. Style 1, no discussion, I make the decision. Or the leader makes the decision. No discussion, I make the decision. Style 2 is we discuss and I make the decision. Style 1, no discussion or low discussion. I make the decision. Style 2, we discuss. We get some feedback, clarification. I'm still making the decision. Style 3, we discuss. I get feedback. We clarify. And who makes the decision? You make the decision or we make the decision. If their ability is higher, they make the decision. If the ability is less, we make the decision. And then style 4 is no discussion. Low discussion. We don't discuss. You make the decision. That's called delegation. Does that make sense? That's the 4 leadership styles. So again, what's this one? Give me both. Discussion or no discussion? No discussion. Leader makes a decision. We discuss, still make the decision. I made a prediction earlier on, remember that? Okay. What's style 3? Style 3 is we discuss and either you or we make the decision, yeah? And then style 4, we don't discuss. Maybe big picture, that's it. Big picture, but you make the decision, right? That's it. Which one do you like the best out of these? Which one do you like the best? You like 3? It depends on the situation, right? Absolutely. Which one is the safest? Which one do you think is the safest out of all of these? Nay. I know the one you feel is the safest. I know which one you feel is the safest. Which one is the safest? As a leader, be honest. Be honest. As a leader, be honest. No, no. No, that's risky. Style 1 is risky because it's like, yeah, style 2. Style 2 is the safest, isn't it? That's called the that's what you said, Maharaj, earlier on today. Remember? Benevolent autocrat. A benevolent autocrat. You want to be fair and you want to project like that you care, but still you're making the decisions at the end of the day. Isn't it? It's true. I know. Yeah. It's very, very safe. We think it's safe. It's not.
Does this mean that a leader consistently has to change himself or herself between being autocratic and democratic?
You're going to make an adjustment to how much relationship and how much task. So for people who have low ability, you're going to be more task specific. For people who have high ability, you're going to be less task specific. For people who are motivated and inspired and committed, you're going to do, it's going to be like it's unusual, it goes like a curve, it's like a bell curve. So eventually, when a person's completely motivated and inspired, you really need to do less inspiration. Does that make sense? Yes. So which leadership is the right one? The one that matches the readiness level, that's the right one. So remember we talked about situation leadership is based on 2 principles, consistency and flexibility. The consistency is this, you always make the right match. The flexibility is you're able to shift your style. Yeah? So so ideally you want to be able to, your range needs to be able to be wider. You need to broaden your range.
Just gone out of my head. S2 is more aligned with the guru-disciple relationship where the guru gives instructions to the disciple. But it's interesting to note that Srila Prabhupada with the GBC was, even though he was the guru, he was giving the management and the details and even the vision to the GBC so that he could just retire and study. So Prabhupada kind of demonstrated that.
Yeah, if you look on page 48, 49, you'll see different examples of Srila Prabhupada using different leadership styles here. So there's some case studies there, Srila Prabhupada's leadership styles there. Let me give you a couple, if I can think of one there, see one. There's some Shastra examples as well. I think we did have some quotes somewhere. We did find some. Not sure if it's there. But yeah, I mean, Srila Prabhupada was really expert. He would, obviously if the person had a lot of, he would give, like he sent those disciples to London. He trained them first of all, like Yamuna, and trained them how to sing, do kirtan and everything. They sent them to London. But he was always, writing to them, keeping in touch. But you could see that they had some ability. Whereas other devotees, he would have more of a tighter rein. So it really, that expertise is there. You're consistent. In other words, with an S1, with an R1, you'll use an S1. With an R2, you use an S2. You're consistent.
No, I'm saying flexibility part.
Flexibility part means you have the range of all 4 styles.
As a leader, you have all of the 4 styles.
You'll be able to have all. You'll be able to use delegation. You'll be able to use participation. You'll be able to sell, and you'll be able to tell. Yeah.
From your experience that you got in a different company, how you really feel that the leader are able to switch from one style to the other?
Yeah. See, right now, probably until today, you probably weren't really aware of this so much. You may not have had that self-awareness that there are these ranges, right? So the beginning is really that self-awareness, because now what you can see is, oh my God, this person's an R4. And what am I doing with them? Oh my God, I'm basically just telling them da 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 da. No wonder where I'm going wrong. So now you've got some awareness about what you're doing, so you're able to shift. Before you didn't know, so you weren't able to do that. Does that make sense? So absolutely, yeah. That knowledge will empower you. This knowledge of the field. Yeah. Because now you realize, oh my God, I was treating a superstar like a newbie. Yeah? So now you know. So if you know, I mean, you might not have the skills, because yeah, there is definitely a difference between actually applying style 1 and knowing style 1. Now you're just learning how to know style 1. So, like when we do the coaching tomorrow, you'll learn different styles tomorrow that you've never done before, right? And the next day. Okay? All right. Good. Let's turn to page 54. I'm going to quickly go through now because we don't have too much time. This is the model. I forgot to ask you that question, didn't I? Remember, I left you with a question at the break time. Which style would you use for which readiness level? Yeah? I asked you that during the break. So what do you think? For a readiness level 1, someone who's unable and unwilling and insecure, which style would you use? Okay, so S2. Okay, any other ideas on that? S2? S1, okay. S1. It's pretty simple. Just for the time's sake, I'm going to kind of give it to you. All right. So remember this? Remember step 2? Is this person presently performing acceptable standards? Yes or no? If it's a no, that means they're unable. If it's a yes, it means they're able. Second question, are they confident, committed, and or motivated? Yes or no? R1, unable and insecure, you would use a style 1. For an R2, style 2. For an R3, style 3. For an R4, style 4. Now, these are high probability matches. Remember, it's high probability match. It's not an absolute perfect fit. There's no such thing as an absolute perfect fit. But it does give you something to kind of like benchmark from. Does that make any sense? Are you with me? Okay, so now the idea is what you want to do is you've got the 4 readiness levels, and you need to match the leader response. So high task, high relation, yeah? Match leadership response. Okay, can we just turn to page 54, please? 54. Page 54. Let's just read that. This is the model. Can I have a volunteer just to read page 54?
Module 3, Influence Behaviours, Part 2, the model, objectives. Discuss and begin to get comfortable working with a situational leadership model. Know which leadership styles have the highest probability of success in various situations. Develop the ability to choose leadership styles that match the performance readiness levels of people being influenced. Understand the short and long-term consequences of style readiness mismatches. Overview. The importance of your diagnostic skills cannot be overemphasized. Since the ability and willingness of individuals vary, your diagnosis ultimately guides the way you will interpret their performance readiness. Adapting your leadership style to meet the needs of the people you're attempting to influence is critical. It's not enough to know that there are 4 different leadership styles from which to choose. You also need to know when to use them. For each unique situation, one of the 4 styles is most appropriate. In Module 3, Part 2, the situational leadership model is introduced. It provides a framework from which to diagnose different situations and prescribes which leadership style will have the highest probability of success in that particular situation. Situational leadership is based on an interplay among leadership and individual, focusing on the same job, task, or activity. 2, the performance readiness level that individuals demonstrate in performing a specific job, task, or activity, and the leadership style that matches the performance readiness level. With influence in leadership, there are no absolutes. The situational leadership model will help increase the probability of your success and effectiveness as a leader. Situational leadership is both a diagnostic and decision support model designed to help you make conscious decisions about how and when to influence the behaviors of others.
Okay, yes, question we have there.
Not getting, like if I would probably try to match, I would make a mistake because I would put to R1, I would put S2, and vice versa. So maybe you could explain why I done like that.
I mean, there are differences of view on this. There are differences of opinion. Like this particular model was put together by 2 people, Paul Hersey and Ken Blanchard. So I'm giving you the history right now. And there was actually some disagreement between Paul Hersey and Ken Blanchard, because Ken Blanchard said, no, style 1 is style 1 is R2. And then Paul Hersey said, no, style 1 is, style 1 is style R1. So there was a little bit of a disagreement there. So if you look at his model, it's slightly different, and his model is slightly different. So it's an important thing to factor in, because like what it's saying here, there's no absolute perfect match. But what it's going to give you, it's going to give you an understanding about, basically seeing what's working for you. So let's say, now a key point here is, remember, it is task specific. So let's say, what's the task? So let's say the task is to deliver this, some facilitation, some training program, like this training program. So obviously someone's going to be at different readiness levels. If I asked you to do that right now, where would you be? R1, R2, all right? Now let's say if you're an R2, that means you're a newbie, you really want to do this, and you're really excited, and you're saying, please, Braj, let me do this. I'm a really good facilitator. And I'll say, well, have you ever done situational leadership before? No, I've never done it, but I know I can do it, right? So if I just say to you, no, you're not doing it, be quiet. You can do it later on after you study. There may be some, because if a newbie has got a lot of enthusiasm, you want to keep that. Does that make sense? That enthusiasm is priceless. You don't want to squash it. So with a newbie, you need to explain why you're making that decision. You have a discussion. I think it's really great that you want to do this situational leadership program. I love your enthusiasm. However, right now, we do have quite a senior audience, and there's a couple of things I still think you need to work on. And we're going to have a discussion about it. Now, what you could do is we can co-facilitate, and then later on, when your skill develops, we can do it together. Would that be okay with you? So then we're going to have a discussion. So I'm explaining the reason why I'm making my decision. See, with the style 1, it's like, no, you're not ready for it yet. Go and read that. Right? Remember, you're working on what they need, not what they want. You're working on what they need, not what they want. That's really important. Does that kind of make sense to you a little bit? But again, you've got to be flexible with it. You've got to be flexible. Now, you'll normally find that someone who's like an R1 means they don't want to do it. They're, what is it? They're unable and they're unwilling. You're going to really need to give like small steps. Okay, well, listen. This is the situation right now. This needs to be done. However, if you're talking to a complete, I would say, like a real prince of the pity party who's not doing it and they don't want to do it, you're going to have, probably will be some discussion also. There probably will be some discussion. Does that make sense? There probably will be some discussion, back and forward. Like a shipwreck survivor, yeah? Okay? Now, obviously, we don't have too much time to kind of go into all the details of it. I would like to, but we've only got one day, so, you know, I'm not really going to go too much into it. What we will do is, I just want to show you the last model. If you look at page, the next page, this is the kind of situational leadership model in its complete, form. Okay, so this is the task. This is the task. So this is, if someone's an R1, they're unwilling and unable. You've got two lines here. You've got on top, you've got the, see this line here on top? Guiding, explaining, encouraging, observing. This line is called the progressive cycle. In other words, when a person's going from, they're progressing, they're moving forward, right? Then you've got a regressive cycle as well. This is the regressive cycle. This is when someone's sliding backwards. This is when someone is developing. So when you're trying to develop an individual and you want to bring them to a superstar, this will be your process. First, you're going to guide them. Yeah? Then you'll kind of explain what you're doing and why you're doing it. This is like giving them step by step. Okay, start here, then do this, then do this, then do this. Okay, got it? Great. Oh, wow, you're getting really good now. Now, let me explain a little bit more details. The relationship is going up. A little bit more supportive behavior. A little less hands-on. This is hands are coming off, hands are coming off, hands are coming off. Support, more support, more support. Are you getting it? Huh? And then when you get to this level, you're going to start reducing support. And you also, this is less hands-on. These two, I make the decision. Yeah? No discussion, discussion. Okay, this is encouraging. Now, hands off. Less and less talking about the task. Now, less and less supportive behavior. Less and less support. The more the skill goes up, the more the ability goes up, the more the need for autonomy rises. Yeah? Like if you look at someone who's a superstar, what is more important for them? Autonomy or encouragement? Think about yourself. The more superstar you are, does a superstar need constant support and say, wow, you did a fantastic job? No. The more competent you become, the more you have a need for autonomy. Listen, it's cool. I'm good. I don't need that support. It's not saying no support. Does that make sense? So what happens here is your kind of relationship behavior, that supportive behavior starts to drop. Now, what does happen, and it's very natural, is when a person is performing a task, there's going to be times when they also start to regress. You know, so on the regressive cycle, you're going to be monitoring here because you want to know what's going on. He's building this temple. He's got the Lakshmi. He has the funds. He has the date. But maybe it's really tough. Maybe he's under pressure. maybe it's a tight deadline. So I kind of need to monitor him, see what's going on. So I'm going to be communicating. Because at some point, he might start to get overwhelmed, and he might just start to slide down into a shipwreck survivor. So I need to be there to actually problem solve with him. Okay, okay, so you're telling me it's a lot of pressure right now, the deadlines are tight, the budget's tight. Okay, how can we fix this? We're going to get into problem solving mode. So it's going to be a two-way discussion, problem solving mode. Make sense? Make sense? I'm giving you like a high level here. We don't have time for details, sorry. Okay? And then, obviously, then there's the persuading here, if the regressive slide, persuading. And then when it gets to a point where the person is beyond persuasion, in other words, they've made a decision they're not going to follow, then it comes to a point where you direct. And then at a certain point, it's kind of you're in or you're out. Yeah? It's like, it comes to a point of ultimatum. Okay, it's great, you continue this way, but if you continue this way, this is the consequence, this is what's going to happen. So you have to make a choice. Does that make sense? So it kind of goes the full cycle. Yeah.
So in S4,
yes,
what happens to the leader and what happens to the superstar? Because it's already in a declining trend. As far as the leader's thought is concerned, he is delegating his stuff to the superstar. So does it mean the leader in the growth path, leader's trend is coming down?
Sorry, just say can you repeat one more time?
I'm specifically looking at what happens to the leader and what happens to the superstar at S4.
So here the leader is using a style which is more, he's observing, he's just making sure that everything is okay. There's going to be communication, obviously, but it's going to be at a very high level, not detailed.
So which means that the superstar is performing at an optimum level, that he doesn't require leader's support, which means...
Not no support. See, it's low support. It's never no support, it's low. There's always going to be some encouragement, and there's always going to be some acknowledgement. It's very important,
So now I'm looking at more from a maturity level of the leader, because where this graph leads to then.
Could you repeat that?
Where the graph leads next. Is this the maximum level? After delegation is nothing for the leader?
No.
Is it nothing more than S4? I'm just saying.
No. I mean, see, the person really owns it here. This is where the person owns it. They own the job. They've taken full responsibility. You don't have to tell them what to do. They know what they're doing, and they're happy doing it. It's just like, for example, what's your service, Prabhu? Are you a temple president?
Yeah.
You're a temple president?
Yeah.
Where?
In Bangalore.
In Bangalore. Does people need to tell you what to do?
Say that again?
Do you own this project? Is it your project?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do people need to tell you what to do, how to do it?
No.
No? Right? Now, what if I'm your GBC and I start coming in and tell you, okay, you know what, let's change things. I don't like the way you're doing this. I don't like the way you're doing that. Let's shift it. How are you going to...
So which means that, my question is that, my position is actually at certain level, at certain task level.
Yeah.
That my time is, or the time which I need to focus on that is become redundant, which means that I have opportunity to take other responsibilities. I'm trying to figure out that,
Oh, absolutely. I mean, see, if you're a leader and you have a core team that are kind of like operating at this level, that's going to free your time up.
That's my point. So that's
Yeah,
why I'm asking
absolutely, yeah, thank you.
in terms
Yeah.
of the maturity level and also the succession plan.
Yeah.
That ends, or the start point should be the succession plan,
This
right?
is where, you see, it depends on the individual. They may start here, they may start there. It's not necessarily they have to go through all the way. Someone might just start there, you never know. Sometimes it takes, if it's a high complex job, if it's very complicated and it's high risk, obviously you're going to be at different levels. But if it's just a really simple task, you can go from there to there in like 5 minutes. How to turn on a computer, for example, which is a very simple task, turning on a computer. You might start there, and they might even be resisting. No, I'm not a techie person. But then when you actually show them and say, no, it's really simple. Let me just show you first. First you do that. Okay, that's not so hard. Okay, then you do this. Oh, that's easy. And then you do this. Oh, I can do it. Oh, it's not so bad after all. Maybe I am a techie person.
So going by
Right?
this,
So it doesn't have to take years. It depends on the complexity of the task. Now, if it's managing a temple or a zone, that's pretty complicated, right? If it's managing other people, but if it's like something just which is,
so going by this theory that the maturity model need not necessarily have to start from one end and end
not
at
necessarily, and it doesn't necessarily have to take a long time. Also,
Okay.
could be very quick, depending on complexity.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, good question. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Can a microphone?
Someone dealing with the boards.
Dealing with?
Dealing with the board, temple boards.
Yeah.
A team.
Yeah.
And in the team, there is a task which is relevant to all of the members.
Yeah.
But the members are different.
Different levels.
Different levels. So, what to do then? Different levels.
Yeah. So as a team, you'll have an overall. You'll be able to see overall. Is the team overall performing at an acceptable level? Yes or no? And that's going to give you R4, R1, R2, R3 as a team. If they're performing, see if they're getting the results done and it's acceptable, they're either R3 or an R4 as a team. But then you've also got the individual consideration as well. So within the team, there's going to be certain people at different levels as well. So you can do both. Yeah? Which one? Or this one? Insecure to confidence or willing to unwilling? So insecure, like normal you'll find unable and insecure can also become confident as well. They can become confident. Yeah, basically, that means there's some regression there. So there's some regression there. There's some progression there. Insecure to confidence or willing to unwilling. There's some regression. So that's showing you regression, that's showing you progression. Yeah. You won't normally find, and you'll see the arrow only goes one way, because you won't find it probably won't go the other way. You probably won't find someone who's really super confident and then becoming insecure. It normally doesn't happen. Yeah? Does that make sense? Yeah, willing can become unwilling. Unwilling can also become, willing, but okay. All right. Yeah. One more question, and then we're going to go to your feedback. Remember your feedback that you did this morning? I want to do that for you before we go. So,
I was just wondering, would the picture change for two situations that the person is aware that he is R2 or R1, and he is not aware that he is R2 or R1? I mean, subconsciously.
oh yeah. Oh, that's a huge one. I'll tell you why. A lot of the time, people who are R2, they're very motivated, they're unable, but they're very confident. Sometimes they can become overconfident. In other words, sometimes you'll find that an R2 thinks that they are R4. And that's, again, comes to why you need to explain why. Because often an R2 thinks, yeah, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And they're very confident. And they're very motivated and very, and they think that they're actually R4, when in actual fact, they're not. They're actually an R2. They're a newbie. That does happen. So that's why you need the why bit, the why explanation. That's why the high relationship there. That conversation needs to happen. Okay, great. I love your enthusiasm, but there's a couple of things. So you need to check. You need to clarify. Are they really R2? Are they really an R4? Or are they an R2? That's why that two-way conversation is so important there. Make sense? Okay. I'm going to pause you here. What we're going to do is the favorite part of the day. Let's go to your feedback. Remember those questions you asked this morning? Okay. So I'd like you to turn to page number 70. We're going to see which leadership style you are. So, in fact, let's go straight to page 71. Actually, we'll go page 71. Oh no, sorry. I will no. It's page 70. Yeah, that's important. Can someone read page 70, please? Can someone read page 70?
Influence behaviors, part 3, feedback, objectives. Understand the significance of your primary leadership style. Determine the primary and secondary styles that comprise your style profile. Understand the strengths and challenges inherent to your style profile. Examine indicators of your style range and style adaptability. Identify areas for growth and development. Overview. By now, you have had an opportunity to assess the utility of situational leadership. No doubt, you have thought about applying situational leadership in real-life situations while attempting to influence others on the job. As you think about the kind of leader you strive to become, you will need to first get an idea of what kind of leader you are.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to give you something to print. Let me see if I got it. I hope I got it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a print and photocopy it. See if I got one. Yeah. Yeah, if I have it. I'm not sure if I got it yet. See if I got it. I don't think I have it actually. Damn. No, it's not there. Yeah, I did have a soft copy to Rasika Raman, but I didn't give it to him. He has it. Oh no, it doesn't matter. It's okay. We'll figure it out. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, we're all right. Okay, so this is page 71. Page 71. Okay, design the lead. The lead self-instrument is comprised of 12 situations representing different circumstances, levels of group performance readiness, and alternative leadership styles. Performance readiness and leadership style are incorporated as follows. R1, R2, R3, and R4 are each represented in 3 different cases. Okay, so if you just, you're going to need 2 pages. You're going to go back and forwards. So if you remember the very first exercise we did, it's on page number, what page is it? It's on page number 14, that's correct, yeah. So you're going to need to kind of have both pages open at the same time. And you're going to go backwards and forwards like that. Okay? I'll show you what this means. Can you see this row here, this column? Can you see this column? It says R1, R2, R3, R4. It happens 3 times. You've got one section, R1, R2, R3, 4. In blue, you've got the second section, R1, R2, R3, R4 in yellow. The third section, R1, R2 in green. Along the bottom, you have these styles. This is style 1, this is style 2, this is style 3, this is style 4. So if I put my pointer on C, what is that a combination of? It's a combination of what? It's a combination of R1 and it's a style 1. This is what? This is a combination of R3 with a style 3. Okay, now there's 12 situations. Each one of these situations represents one question that you were asked. So question 1 is, team members of your fundraising team have not been responding to your friendly conversation and obvious concern for their welfare. Fund collection of the temple is on a downslide. Now let me ask you a question. What is their readiness level? What is their readiness level? Are they R1, R2, R3, or R4? What do you think now? Team members of your fundraising team have not been responding to your friendly conversation and obvious concern for their welfare. Fund collection of the temple, are they performing at acceptable levels? Sustained acceptable levels, yes or no? No. Are they confident, committed, and or motivated? No? So what does that mean? They are R1. Okay. Now, you've got 4 choices. A, do you emphasize the use of uniform procedures and the necessity for accomplishing their respective targets? What style is that? Do you make yourself available for discussion, but do not push? Okay? It's very easy. You just think like this. Is it high task or low task? Is it high relationship or low relationship? That's the question you ask. So if you look at that first one, is it high task or low task? Emphasize the uniform procedures, accomplishing targets. High task. Is it high relationship or low relationship? Low relationship. So that would be style 1, wouldn't it? Okay, let's have a look at B. Make yourself available for discussion, but do not push. Is that high relationship or low relationship? High relationship. Let's discuss. Is it high task or low task? Low task. It's a style 4, isn't it? S4. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, S3. So it's high relationship. Low task, that's S3, correct. Talk with team members and then set goals. High relationship or low relationship? Talk with team members. Is that high relationship or low relationship? It's high relationship, isn't it? Because remember, two-way dialogue means high relationship. Talk with team members and set goals. Is it high task or low task? Huh? Set goals. High task. It's high task, high relationship, so that would be style 2. Is it making sense? And then D, be careful not to intervene. High relationship or low relationship? Low relationship. High task or low task? Low task. That's style 4. That's delegation. So out of these questions, you had a choice, right? You had a choice to choose any one of those questions. One of them is a high probability match, and one of them isn't. So now what we need to do is let's just continue reading then. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that description. So yeah, I'm on page 71. R1, R2, R3, and R4 are each represented in 3 different cases. Case 1, case 2, case 3. The 4 alternative actions to choose from represent each of the 4 leadership styles. These are the 4 choices. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what style am I using with you right now? What style am I using with you right now? Okay, this is S3. This is S3. What do you think we should do right now?
Just fun, because we are still learning.
What would you like to do right now? How do you feel about what's going on? And what do you think we should do right now?
You're very comfortable.
You're very comfortable. Okay, great. So you're cool? Yeah. Okay, great. Carry on. That's style 3, move to a style 4. That's style 3 moving to a style 4. Because you told me you're okay, so I don't need to talk to you anymore about it, right? So what do you need right now? What do you need right now? Okay. I'm not using S1 with you because I'm getting feedback from you. It's a two-way dialogue. I'm not using style 1. Style 1 would be, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this. But I'm not. We're having a discussion because I'm checking. Are you understand with me? Are we on the same page? Is it making sense to you? Any feedback? That's style 2. I'm using a style 2 with you. Does that make sense? Okay, so, all right. With a little bit of style 1. Because if you don't, we have to make sure we're on the same page, yeah? Style 4 would be, this is style 4. What time do we finish? 6:30. Okay, I'll be back at 6:30 to check the results, all right? You okay? Okay, see you guys. Bye. That's style 4. Okay? That doesn't work, does it? When you're training? Wouldn't work. What? S3 and 4. S3 is, there's discussion, but you decide. S4? Carry on. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so when you completed the lead self, that was this morning, you chose the alternative style that most closely described how you would handle that situation. The lead directions for self-scoring and analysis describe your style profile and your style adaptability based on self-perception data from, it's just explaining what we did this morning. For self-scoring analysis, purpose. The instrument provides information aspects of your leadership style and is used to tabulate the responses on the lead self instrument when using those directions with lead self. The resulting information provides insight into your perception of your leadership rules. Okay, so page 72, blah, blah. We are looking at graphic 1. Can you see graphic 1 is on the left of your book? This is graphic 1 here. This is the one we're working on. Okay? Only graphic 1, this side, left side. Not this side, only this side. What you're going to do is you are going to go to the different questions. So here, this is question 1. This is question 1 here. So in question 1, did you choose A, B, C, or did you choose A, C, B, or D? So what I want you to do is go to question 1, look at the one that you put a circle around. If it was a C, then you circle C. If you chose B, then you circle B. And if you chose D, you circle D. And if you chose A, you circle A. And then you do that for 2 as well. Go to 2, question 2. Did you circle D, or did you circle A? Did you circle C or B? So if you circle B, you would circle this one. If you circle C, you would circle this one. If you circle D, you would circle this one. So do this for all of those 12 situations. Go back and forward. Okay. And don't do anything else. Only do that. Okay? Otherwise, you might get confused. If you need help, just raise your hands and I'll come over. If you're not sure what you're doing, just raise your hands, I'll come over. Yeah, so you chose C for 1. So you circle C.
Just marking ourselves.
Yeah, you're just putting a circle around the letter that you chose. Yeah, and for number 2, you chose A. So you circle A. A is here. Who needs my help? Yeah. Okay. Have you done it already? Yeah. Okay, is it right? You sure? Can I have a look? Sometimes people get it wrong. Okay, 3 is A. Cool. Cool. I'm not sure if you got that right though. Oh, okay, we'll check it out after. Let me just check everyone's okay, and I'll come back to you, because let them do this first. Yeah, so you chose B for the first one. So here you circle B here. This is number 1. Circle B. Number 2. Number 2, you chose D. So for number 2, you circle D. for number 3. Yeah, like that. Okay, does anyone else need my help here? You know what you're doing? Not yet. There's a lot to learn from this. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you okay? Let me just check you got it right first. Don't go ahead because there's a lot to learn about first thing. You chose C for number 1, yeah? You chose C for number thing? Okay, just stay there then. Don't do the second one, otherwise you might get it wrong if it's not exactly right. Is it or is it correct the way you did it? Okay. Okay, good. Okay, just do the first side. That's the first side. Okay, everyone completed the first side? There's some really useful information you're going to learn about yourself from this one. Who's not done yet? Okay, now when you finish, what you can do is also, I think you have to total them up, right? So for each column, I've got two circles here, so 1, 2, you put a 2 here. 1, 2, 2 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 goes here. This has no, so it's 0. Okay. Yep. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 goes here. 1, 2, 2 circles, so 2 goes there, and then like that. Okay, now you're going to see some trends. Okay, style 2 is high for you. It should total 12. If it adds up to more than 12, you've got it wrong. The total should be 12. So if it adds more to 12, okay, style 2 and style 3. It'll add to 12. It has to. If it's not 12 or 13, you got it wrong. It should add to 12. Okay, you got it. You can write. I'll give you the soft copy if you want. You can. Oh, okay. Does it come to total 12? 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Okay, good. Huh. That's 12. There's 1 here. He has 1 here. Oh, he has 13. Okay, 5. Oh, yeah, 13. That means you got 1 of them wrong. 1, 2. Okay. Yeah. Is it a total of 13? Yeah, okay. That's right. 12, sorry. I'm getting confused now. 12, okay, good. All right. Okay, let me give you some insights here. Can you see this diagonal line which is highlighted? This diagonal line which is highlighted? This is the high probability match. That basically means for R2, you use the style 2. For an R1, you use the style 1. For an R3, you use the style 3. That's called the high probability match. So just look at your feedback and see how much, see which matches you were getting. Like, let me have a look at yours. So see, this was a match, right? You did, R2 with an R1. If it's in that diagonal line, it means it was a match. That means your leadership style was matching the readiness level. Yeah? What? No, forget this. We're only on this side here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 here. 1 here. But how come you got 1 there as well? Okay, yeah, and 1 there. Okay, 1 there. So that's 12. Okay. When you look at this row, this tells you your predominant leadership style. So, either you're a style 1, style 2, style 3, style 4, right? That shows your predominant. Whichever got the highest result, that shows the kind of which style is your natural tendency, okay? Now, if you have more circles above this line, it means you are over managing. No, hold on. No, it means, sorry. Let me get that right. It means if you have circles above this line, it means you are under-managing. You're under-managing. If you have circles above the diagonal line here, above the diagonal line like here, or above the diagonal line here, it means you're under-managing. It means you're under-managing. It means you need to be a little bit more task. It means you need to be a little bit more task oriented. Yeah? No, that's below. That's below. Those two are below. You've got two above and you've got two below.
Oh, sorry, gotcha.
It goes the categories, right? You've got the categories here. No, for all of them. So for the first category, you've got three categories here. There's one block there, there's one block there, there's one block there. So if you've got above the line here, that means you're under-managing. This means you're under-managing. Now, if you've got more underneath, it means you're over-managing, you're micro-managing. If you have more underneath, it means you have a tendency to micromanage. So there's going to be a balance, yeah. It means sometimes you're doing a bit of both. Okay, so, but in general, you can get an idea in general. So you can count how many under total. It seems like you're, in general, yeah, you know.
Raj?
Yeah, so, see, if you've got under the line, that means you're probably micromanaging. That's under the line. Because you see it's categorized three. There's three categories here. This is one category. 9, 10, 11, 12 is one category block. So you're under the line here, under the line here, under the line here, over the line there.
Babu, is that true for each of the diagonals in each of the three sections? Right.
Yeah. To determine your leadership style adaptability, circle the scores in graphic 2 corresponding to the alternative action choices made for each situation in graphic 1. For example, if for situation 1, alternative action choice was C, circle 2 under the column C. So in other words, if you chose C in this C, in the next column, you put C. 1 is C. And that's worth 2 points, basically. Okay? In the second row, I chose C. In the third row, I chose D. So third row, I chose D. So what I do in this graphic is I third row, I chose D. So you put circle around 3. Make sense? Pretty simple. But it's easy to get it wrong. And if you get it wrong, your diagnosis of yourself is going to be a mess. So just check it, you got it right. Okay, if you need any, if you want me to come over and walk you through it, I can. So you chose C, so C column 2. You chose C, C column 2. You chose B, B column 2. B, 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 this is B. A, B, C, D. So in other words, this A, B, C, D corresponds to the letter. The A, B, C, D corresponds to the letter that you chose here, A, B, C, D. So if that's the A, then that would be A there. Okay? Make sure you get it right, because otherwise your diagnosis about yourself is going to be messed up. Okay. Got it? Okay, got it? We got 5 minutes. Okay? So this is like your leadership horoscope. With the emphasis on the word horror. The scope of horror. Horoscope. Okay. No, I'm just joking. Okay, everyone. Yeah, so you should. So then what you do is you add these numbers, you total it up. 2 plus 1 equals 3. 3 plus 0 equals 3. 3 plus 1 equals 8. Plus 2 equals 8. And that'll give you a number. Then you add those together and then you come up with the final number. There are passing marks, yeah. You will not pass through the GBC college until you get your number to a certain level. And but you know the answers now, so it's not fair. Okay. Now, third part you need to do is you need to take these numbers from the first graphic one, for graphic 1 at the bottom. Take these numbers. So go back to graphic 1. Take the number. So if that's 2, and that's 2, and that's 8, and that's 0, what you do is you put that 2, 2, 8, and 0. Put it into the graphic 3. So the graphic 1 at the bottom, these totals, go into graphic 3 here. And that basically tells you which style you have. Okay? Yeah, so, yeah, 2, 5, 5, 1. Yeah, so style 1, 2, style 3. Yeah, this one, graphic 1. Yeah, graphic 1. So this is style 1. So for style 1, you chose 2. For style 2, it's 5. So that's 2, style 1. Okay. I'm on graphic 1. This is graphic 1. It says style 1 is 2. Style 2 is 2. Style 3 is 8. Style 4 is 0. So then I go there. Style 1 is 2. Style 2 is 2. Style 3 is 8. Style 4 is 0. So basically style 1, 2, 3. These ones from graphic 1 go into graphic 3. Yeah? Just double check. Just double check, because sometimes you might make a mistake. Okay, so now you have your primary styles, now you have your secondary styles. You also have your adaptability score. One of the most important scores you've got here is your adaptability score. Can you see on page 72, if you look at the, this graphic, this is page 72. This is interesting because you've got 4 numbers. You've got a 0, you've got a 1, you've got a 2, you've got a 3, and you've got a 4, right? No, sorry, you've got 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 means it was a match. In other words, the readiness level and your leadership style was a match. If you got 2, that means you were slightly off, but pretty close. If you got 0, it means it was way off. It basically means for someone who was a superstar, you use style 1 with a superstar. That's what it means. In other words, when you should have been delegating, you were telling them what to do. That you would get 0 for that, right? Or maybe for R1, someone who is completely unable and unwilling, you use the style 4. Yeah, fine, and you come back and nothing happened, right? So that would be worth 0, obviously. Does that make sense? So you can see, if you got a 3, it kind of tells you how many matches you got. So you can see which ones were you good at, which ones... Now, you can look for patterns. You can look for patterns. Which one did you always get wrong? Which ones did you always get wrong? You never got it right. Which one was that? Just have a look. Which one did you always get right? Is there any that you always got right? Huh? No, because it goes with the letter A. It goes with A. You didn't choose A, you chose C. C, so it was 2. It's only there if it's there. B, so you got B? That should be worth 3. It is worth 3. Yeah? Okay. Is there any one that you always get right? Is there any ones that you kind of always get wrong? Is there any one style that you never ever used at all? R3 is always right. Now, if you only use R3, if you only use style 3, it has to be right. Yeah. Okay, so you like Maharaj. Okay. Now, this is going to be interesting for you, but what you can do is you can actually read your profile. So you'll see we have different profiles. So you can read about your profile. We also have a little bit about your adaptability score. The higher the score with your adaptability means the wider your range. If you got a higher adaptability score, it means you have a wider range, and not only that, you have a wider range and more accuracy. Because it's not just about the range, it's also about the accuracy, which is really important. So if you got a high adaptability score, it means you were right most of the time, right? The lower the adaptability score means you were mismatching. You did an R4, you did a style 4 when you should have done a style 3, you did a style 2 when you should have done a style 1, etc. Yeah? The high score is, what is it? 36. High score is 36. And it gives you some kind of ranges there. Yeah, you can get from 0 to 36. You have a possibility. I've never seen anyone. Now remember, I made a prediction this morning. Let's just check if it's true or not. My prediction this morning is most of you in this room, your primary style is style 2. And the one that you use the least is style 4. Who is that true? Just answer me true, if that's true for you. Yeah, that's okay. But it's probably, yeah. So you'll see that, yeah, so you're not using style 4. Or, your primary is 8. Yeah, your primary is 8, secondary is 4. Now, if you've got two the same, it means you switch between one or the other. Yeah, you can switch between one or the other. Right? So this is your homework, because we're kind of time's up, but you can just kind of read through your style. If you want to stay longer, I'm happy to stay with you, but I'm going to officially end the program right now because it's 6:30. If any of you want to talk to me, I'll be here. I can give you some questions and answers if you want to do that with me. I'll be happy to do that for half hour.
We circulate
hand it over to you.
the feedback forms, so take a couple of minutes to give feedback on the all-day situational leadership. And then, as Prabhu said, those who want to churn more the topic, they are welcome to stay on. Thank you so much, Brajaman Prabhu.
Style 4 is like risky.